Alright, welcome back. We are back with more Mono Black Discard. I somehow made the deck even better. We'll do a quick lowdown on the deck list and then talk about the cards after that. So Mono Black Discard, we have lots of discard spells to attack our opponent's hand, and also several removal spells, and also several good finishers. So our super low curve starts with the new addition of Dreams of Steel and Oil. Knock your opponent off their creatures and artifacts before they even hit the table. And then the March of Wretched Sorrow also adds a little bit of life gain to the deck as well. And also you can exile cards from your hand in a pinch to make it active. And then we have our Corrupt Court Official. Coming down to knock a card out of your opponent's hand. Goes well with Ninjutsu Biting Palm Ninja into play to put this back into your hand for a repeat effect. We have one of our removal spells, Infernal Grasp. Some people are running Go for the Throat, but this kills everything, so we're sticking with it. We also have Reckoner's Bargain for some extra card draw and life gain. Probably the card that can be swapped out the most in the deck if you want to do a specific strategy more, but that is what we're going with now. We mentioned our Biting Palm Ninja. Our Graveyard Trespasser gives us some extra life gain and graveyard removal. Liliana of the Veil, extra discard, extra creature removal, and then the ultimate ability can come into effect if it does not get dealt with. For Sheoldred, the Power Creep, basically the best card in Standard, maybe Pioneer. And then we are adding the Cruelty of Gix. So our saga that lets you knock something out of your opponent's hand, tutor up a card, and or put a creature onto the battlefield under our control, and you can read ahead as fast as you want. And then we have our 3-drop that's also a 7-drop Phyrexian Flesh Gorger. Notice how that the Flesh Gorger and the Trespasser also have Ward, which make them pretty difficult sometimes to get rid of, also knocking more cards out of your opponent's hand. And then a late game threat is the Flesh Gorger at 7 mana. Since we're mono black, we can run some extra man lands as well. 1 Takenuma and just swamps. The sideboard, we have our 2 Concealing Curtains. This is useful against aggressive mono red decks and also grindy mid-range decks if you want to just empty their hand as fast as possible. Also has Menace, which is nice to sneak damage through. Of note, Biting Palm Ninja also has Menace, so when it comes into play or attacks, it's difficult to block, and also exiles a card from your opponent's hand. Forgot to say that. 3 Extract the Truth, so you can get rid of an enchantment that's on the board, or get rid of creatures, planeswalkers, and enchantments from the hand, things that will kill you because they're permanents. We have 2 Unlicensed Hearse, super useful against Monoblue to get their graveyard offline, to turn off their creatures, and then also useful against anything that has a reanimation strategy. 1 Henrika Domnathi, just a little bit of extra removal against decks that are short on creatures, and then also provides you with a little bit of card draw, a little bit of life gain, and also a little bit of making your creatures bigger. Alright. And then we have a Pilfer for those controlling mid-range matchups where you just want to get them off their cards and put them in top deck mode. 2 Heroes Downfall for planeswalker heavy decks, or if you want more removal for creatures that are big and powerful and creatures are not aplenty in your opponent's deck. And then finally 3 Malicious Malfunction. A nice board wipe against decks that go wide, since that is more difficult for us to deal with, because then it makes our Liliana of the Veil not good at removing creatures. So there it is, Mono Black Discard 2.0. We hit the diamond level after these newest additions. You will notice what's not in the deck. We have cut the Invoke Despair. I mean, this is a great card, but a lot of times it's basically tap 5 mana to do minimal to the board. It draws you some cards, but if your opponent has a Sheoldred on the field, you're just taking life off of your life. So, radical move, we cut Invoke Despair. We were excited for Gix Yawgmoth Prider, but turns out a 3/3 for 3, we have already like several of those in the deck, and yeah, needs to have creatures connecting for it to be good, and also loses you life, so that got cut as well. Alright, so basically, oh, and also no evolved sleeper at the 1 spot. That might be something to consider in the future, because it also draws you cards, but it's also a mana sink, so it's not going to really be something you're putting your mana into, and if you do, you're not doing other things, so no evolved sleeper. The deck has basically evolved into cards that do the most as a card to impact the game and the board state. So you have turn 1, 2, 3 removal, or turn 1, 2, 3 disruption, and then late game, and then stuff over here. Actually, I'm going to cut a curtain and add another pilfer. Pilfer. Alright, so that is what we're running now. If I had more time to grind more, I would, but we shall see if we get to Mythic this month. It's kind of like a lot of work, and I don't feel like doing that. Well, let me know what you think of Mono Black Discard, and we'll see you next time.